Let's jump in a little bit to this Navy Notre Dame recap here. Kind of give me your thoughts on that game we called yesterday.
Overall, again, I mean, Sam Hartman's going to be talked about now winning the Heisman. I mean, there's already talk. I saw something on ESPN this morning, just how good he looked and stuff. And he did look good. I mean, he did. He played awesome. I think he threw for about 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw some beautiful passes in that game, though. We will say that. Overall, though, like I said, I expected this game to be a little bit closer. Now, I did take Notre Dame at 21 points, but Newberry with Navy, man, 7 total passes, Christian, in that game? I think they had one pass the first 30 minutes of the game. It's just not going to get it done against a game where they knew that they were going to have to play a perfect game, dominate the clock. I'm not saying they didn't run the ball at times well, but you got to be able to throw it a little bit in today's age, just a little bit. Even with that, I know they run that option style, wishbone style of offense. I get that, but there's a reason why very few teams run it. It just doesn't work nowadays. You got to be able to throw some wrinkles in there. And what I mean by wrinkles is keep the defense off guard a little bit by throwing the ball, whether it's even a wide receiver screen. I don't know, something. I just didn't get anything working passing the ball at all. The one time they did throw a nice ball, both his receivers ran into each other and didn't look like they knew what the hell was going on.
So. Yeah, you can tell that's a team that definitely did not really practice passing a whole lot this offseason, man.
No.
To me, Chris, we talked about this a little bit before we got on air. It was something I thought about last night, and we've all, if you've ever played football or sports, right, we've all kind of played in a game, I would like to think, where you get off the bus and the other team is bigger, stronger, and faster than you, and that is very apparent, right? And that was very apparent last night too, by the way, in that game. It was an athletic mismatch, I felt as if, and everybody probably knew that, obviously, coming into the game. But the other thing that really shocked me, I think, was the coaching part of it, Chris. I mean, if you have any shot to win a game like that, right, as an underdog, that heavy of an underdog, I mean, your coaching has to be on point. You have to put a game plan together that is going to give you the best chance to at least keep the game close. And I felt like in that game, I'm not saying Navy should have won that game. By no stretch should Navy win that game. If they play that game 100 times over, Navy would be lucky to probably win, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Maybe even 5 times if you want to be nice, right? Just because every year somebody gets upset. Navy has had a history of upsetting some teams, right? Doesn't happen often, but they do it. So my main point of it is, Chris, I just felt like there was points early in that game where Navy went for it very early, and then the game was still relatively within reach. If you want to say that, within 2 or 3 scores, that Navy should have probably got a little more aggressive and tried to go for it and try to dial some stuff up, and they just decided not to do it. The other thing that was really, I think, kind of apparent was, and we touched on it, if you're going to run that triple option style, you're not going to deviate, which, hey, that's what they recruited. That's what Brian Newberry, the team he took over with, fantastic. You've got to kill the clock. I mean, they were, the first drive that Navy had the ball, Chris, they were snapping the ball with 15, 18 seconds on the play clock. You got to let it run down. I know there's a lot of motions and stuff like that, but that's something you practice all year. You can literally get it down to a sweet science. I mean, in the second half, they went on a drive, I think, where they decided to settle for a field goal that they missed and gave Notre Dame the ball back and let them go up 28-0 at that point. But they took 9 minutes off the clock, dude, by that drive. I mean, They should have tried to play. If you're going to do that, that's how they should have tried to play this whole game. Try to limit Notre Dame and Sam Hartman as much as they could. Again, not saying they should have won that game. I am saying, though, they should have probably covered. That would have been the way I look at that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good breakdown. I mean, but that was what we had said before the game started. If Navy even wants to keep this thing close, they're going to have to control the clock, limit your turnovers, and not let Sam Hartman cook, not put the ball in his hands. I mean, you see it in the NFL a lot. That's what they try to do with Pat Mahomes, right? Everybody plays the Chiefs tries to do that. Don't let him have the ball. You know what I mean? Obviously there's 2 teams in a game, but you try to limit those possessions. And if Navy wanted to do that, I wasn't very impressed overall with Newberry. I wasn't impressed with the play calling. I know it's week 1. He's a new coach. I understand that. But just the play style, some of the calls I didn't agree with. And just clock management overall, man. I mean, if Navy wanted to even be within this game, And it just didn't happen. They're obviously outmatched. We all knew that too, like you said. So it is what it is, though. I mean, like I said, Notre Dame did look really good for a first game. I think Notre Dame fans are probably more than happy.
I would say so too. I mean, Chris, from a game like this, though, I look at this as a net neutral. If I'm a
Right.
just a college football fan, right? Where I don't know, obviously, how good Navy is going to be this year. Again, there was a lot of they're going to probably be mismatched in a lot of games that they play, and the coaching to me left a little more to be desired. I feel like in this game, so I don't know how good Navy's going to be this year. Notre Dame looked really good. They did what they were supposed to do,
Exactly.
right? So that is good that they were able to do that. Mike also brings up a good point here. They ran that 3-3-5 defense.
Yep.
To me, it almost seemed like Navy, again, just to kind of not to beat a dead horse here, kick a dead horse, but to me, there was a couple times in that game where I thought, Navy should have been a little more aggressive. They should have tried to blitz a little more. They should have tried to play a little more man concepts. And I would have let Sam Hartman beat me. I'd have let him throw for 500 yards. If that's what happened, good, right? Good, do that. But they looked like the reincarnation of Jerome Bettis back there with their running backs, was just bowling them over.
I mean, Estimate tore them up. Hell, they were running their 4th and 5th string running backs 7-8 yards a crack. That's at 3-3-5. I personally would have thrown another guy or two in the box. And like you said, just shut down the run. Make Hartman beat me. I mean, if he throws for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, so be it. I mean, the guy completed 20 of 24 or something like that for 250 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was predicated on the run. I mean, they were getting, Jesus, man. I think the average literally 7 yards a carry that entire game. That I don't care who you are. It's impossible to win at that rate if they're running the ball and you got 2nd and 3,
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. Like you saw it when and here's something that might be a little concerning. When Navy did dial the pressure up and did play more of those man concepts, they actually kind of blanketed Notre Dame players really well. I mean, and Hartman had to put some damn good passes on the money there, on the out route there, going out of bounds. And then on that next play, obviously, where the safety kind of cheated up and they were running that man and he just dropped it over the bucket to the slot receiver for that touchdown. I believe that was in the 2nd quarter. I mean, that was a damn good throw, but I can live with that. If that's how you're going to beat me, if you're going to play perfect, let's do it, right? But yeah, to me, it's a very interesting, the philosophy of this, and it'll be probably debated a lot more.